I think we're good. Sorry if you joined and saw a handful of problems going on there. My streaming software froze up my computer. Okie Hey, look at all those people in chat. Oh, cool. Hello, everybody. Awesome. Alrighty, that was fun. I love watching software just freeze up right before you're supposed to give the first lecture of your class. It's lovely. Alrighty. Well, let's just get right into it since, yeah, I wasn't expecting to have any problems, but yeah, they always happen, right? All right, so before I forget, because I forgot in the first session today, if you want to raise your hand in the chat, there's this little redeem raise hand command, and then Tails pops up. Does I have a question? Just ask questions in chat as well. I can see them pretty easily. But yeah, other than that, let's get started. So welcome to section 1 of Intro to Software Engineering. My name is Professor Fredericks. I am new to Grand Valley. I've been teaching for about 5 years over at Oakland on the east side of the state. Very happy to be on the west side because it's a lot closer to Lake Michigan, and that makes me happy. So yeah, what we're going to do today, oops, sorry about that. We're going to kind of cover some of the class essentials, maybe dip a little bit into the intro to software of engineering. I will do my best to constrain this to 50 minutes since I'm used to 2-hour classes. But I won't keep you past 150, so you don't have to worry about that. So, hello. Plans for today, what we're going to cover. Just going to basically, again, welcome you to the class. We'll rush through the syllabus a little bit, and then the rest of it is the material. So, what I like to start with in all my classes is to set expectations of what we are going to cover, what we are not going to cover, because I don't want you thinking halfway through this semester, hey, we're going to talk about this. We never do. Then you're upset. And we don't want that to happen. We want this to be a good experience for all of you. So, what we are going to cover is practical software engineering. And what that basically means is we're going to hopefully look at a real world view of how software is developed. Get the mouse off the screen so that I'm not that guy presenting with the mouse in the middle. I came out of industry, so I used to be an automotive engineer, and I have a very fine appreciation for things that are actually real world and practical. So a lot of the things we'll be talking about this semester are going to be contextualized instead of just dry theory and very, very bland stuff. So hopefully it's fun for you. Um, it'll be fun for me, I hope. So let's all have a good time here. And what this is going to basically be is that we're going to be looking at the seedy underbelly of software engineering. So we're going to be looking at the models. We'll be setting up processes for how we actually develop software. I don't know if any of you work in industry right now, but if you do, there's probably a good chance that you realize that the term software engineer means that you write code 10 to 20% of your time during the week. The rest of it is spent in meetings, documentation, um, status updates, that kind of thing. So it turns out programming is not all it's cracked up to be. It's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes to make sure that our software is safe, that everything runs correctly, and that there's no real problems. We're also going to cover some teamwork. Software engineering is a very collaborative process. And what that means is that you're going to be forced to do a team project, a term project for the semester, and you actually get to do it in kind of a interesting scenario. I'm going to use the terms interesting and fun because they're interesting to me and sad and painful for you guys probably. What this means is that pretty much every software engineer, hardware engineer, if you're any kind of a, working in industry, you're probably working remotely right now. Um, I know my wife works remotely. I know I have a lot of friends and family that are working remotely for various companies, and everything turns out you can actually do from the comfort of your own home, more or less. So, what this means for you is that your term projects will be team-based. We're going to have to figure out ways to get you and your team to collaborate, to be able to make decisions, to be able to basically talk through your projects, all that fun stuff. But we'll get into this momentarily. Mainly wanted to set the stage that we will be doing teams. And again, if you have any questions, drop it in the chat. Um, Feel free to raise your hand if you want. More than happy to take any questions that you all have. I realize we're probably just coming off of lunch too, so normally class at this time people are kind of barely awake. So what are we not going to cover? This is not specifically a programming course, so I'm going to expect you to know some base level of programming. Don't let that frighten you because... Is that me? Okay, that was me. Don't let that worry you because I know that the only prereq for this course is basically Intro to Java. If you know Java, that's great. If you know Python, C++, somebody mentioned Lua in the other section. Basically, as long as you can write some kind of a program, I'll be happy. I'm not going to be teaching you in-depth Java, but if you want to, if you want to take the time to pick up another language, now is definitely a good time too. Kind of one of the cool things about programming is that if you learn one language, you basically know all of them as long as you don't go into that weird functional realm of Lisp or Racket or anything like that. Those are different, but Java, C Sharp, C++, Python, they're all kind of the same at their core. So you're gonna have to know some kind of programming, basically. Now at this point, I usually like to stop and do a nice blank stare at the room for about, a handful of minutes. I'm kind of interested in what you all want to learn. Maybe any preconceptions you might have about the class where, um, you want to pick up something software engineering related. Maybe you have kind of a latent interest in this. And, if there's anything you want to cover, as long as it's related to the class, I'm usually kind of flexible and we can kind of work that in, if we want. So if you know something right off the bat, you're really excited about learning search-based software engineering, for instance, my research area, so it's on the tip of my tongue. But feel free to throw it in the Twitch chat, to drop it in Discord, email me, however you want to get that to me. But if you're interested in something, I usually like to try to work that in if we can. So, that's kind of the intro to the course so far. So again, I'm assuming that you... Yes, we have one question so far. So what do you got? You also don't have to raise your hand every time you just throw your message in the chat stream too. But that's more of a catch my attention kind of thing. I guess just wait a second for the question to come in if you have it. Let the caffeine sink in. I guess while we're waiting for the question to come in, maybe my thing's not updated here. This is kind of some of the things that I'm assuming that you'll be able to do throughout the semester. So again, know some kind of a programming language, be able to work on a team. So let me let's drop that in there right quickly. The other thing that I like to do too is I treat you all as adults. So you're all 18 and over, I assume. Is there anything physical in the course? Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to go on. I was just sometimes my Twitch delays with the text. There is nothing physical in the course, no. So there's no soldering, no mechanical. This is all software development. So we'll be doing everything can be done on your laptop, and you shouldn't need to pay for anything for the class unless you want to. I mean, you could, if you wanted to. I didn't know how to word the question. No, no worries. So like I play with these a lot in class. Maybe not necessarily this class. This is a Raspberry Pi. I bought this for, research and other things and fun. Um, you're more than welcome to do all of that, but you're not required to. Is the project going to be group coding? Yes. So we'll get into the project in a moment. Um, all online course and in-person course. Okay. Two questions here. So I'm going to do the first one. So the project is a group project. The roles are going to be fluid. Basically, it's going to be like a real world project. So we develop various artifacts. So your teams come up with a proposal, come up with requirements, use cases, um, test cases, prototypes, that kind of thing. So yes, and my goal is going to be to keep you on track with that. We will get into the project a little bit more in a little bit. Second question. So major differences between all online course and in-person course. Design patterns. I'll jump to design patterns in a moment. Um, so the fun part is that I've never taught at Grand Valley before, so specifically I don't know what you are going to expect in class. My classes tend to be a blend of discussion, lecture, in-class labs, that kind of thing. So for this class in particular, we're going to have days where it's me on Twitch. I'm answering your questions through the chat. We do a lecture or demos or something of that nature. We will also have some sessions where I ask you to join a Blackboard Collaborate session where basically we're looking for kind of a group discussion type of thing. Um, Cameras and microphone, that's going to be up to your comfort level. But the point is that I will not be taking attendance. I expect you all to be adults and to keep up with the class. Um, if you do start struggling at any point or if something is not working for you, please get a hold of me as soon as you can. Um, the It's not a dirty little secret, but it's a nice little thing that not everybody seems to know. If you are struggling with anything, talk to your professor, not just me, maybe somebody else. Talk to them early, and usually you can work through something. If I find out after deadline has passed, it's a lot harder to come up with a solution. But at least for me, I'm super flexible. And obviously, we have this new online paradigm we have to deal with too. So again, if something's not working, just get a hold of me in any way you can. Discord, Twitch, email, whatever is going to work for you. Okay, then the last question here, design patterns. So we will probably talk about some of them. The design patterns tend to be more the advanced software development classes, like when you talk about visitor patterns or singletons or things like that. We'll kind of talk about them in terms of like class diagrams, so we'll kind of touch them a little bit, Justin. So we will talk about them a little bit at least. Depends how crazy we want to get with that. But anyway, the takeaway is that yes, there will be a term project. I will keep you guys, basically keep you all going through these lectures and labs and all of that. But again, please just approach me, talk to me if you have any issues. Alrighty, so how class will work. 1 hour sessions are new to me, so I'm going to try to limit my rambling and off-topic storytelling as much as I can. But this is basically going to be a mixture of lecture, where we cover something, discussions where either we have kind of a group discussion where the whole class is on Collaborate. And if we're going to do that, I will tell you in advance. Like Friday, I'm kind of planning on doing that for a lab/project discussion. Or we'll do breakouts into the Discord server. So your first assignment will actually have you giving me your Discord username so that I can put you into groups in there. If you don't want me to know your super cool elite hacker name, maybe create a separate Discord account and open it up in a private tab or something like that. Um, but by and large, that's kind of how class is going to work. I will say this is slightly subject to change. If something is not working for you all, then we're going to have to fix that, right? So if Twitch, I'm going to be uploading these videos to YouTube after we're done, so that you have that for afterwards in case. If something is not working for you, please let me know as well, okay? Because I don't want this online experience to be a horrible slog for you. I want this to actually be interesting and useful. And my entire goal is for you all to be successful in the class. Um, it sucks that we can't be face to face for this, but we have to make do basically at this point. My goal for this is basically to get you all practical, hands-on experience in the best way that I can. Okay, so that's kind of my little intro spiel. Let's talk about the project a little bit. So before we get into it, well, I'll talk about it when we talk about Blackboard. There is a survey in Blackboard. Um, with this class being online only, I know there's a lot of maybe confusion, frustration, nerves for exams. Um, I'm willing to be flexible this year. That's kind of why I'm reaching out to you all to see what you want to do. Do you want it to be project based, where this term project is basically the bulk of your grade, with homework assignments to kind of even it out? Do you still want to do a midterm and a final? In that case, if we did that, it would be purely online, so it'd be through Blackboard Collaborate, or not Collaborate, be through the Blackboard test taking software. And the questions would be worded in such a way that it's more so, not something that you could copy and paste. It'd be more interpretive or something like that. Um, I don't really like that whole lockdown browser stuff. I'd rather you be able to just get your work done and move on with your day, right? Um, so that's something to kind of think about. So this term project, I again, I'm not that far away from my undergrad days that I don't remember term projects and being in class with other people in the student side, on the other side of the desk. Um, I hated term projects, which were useless and thrown away at the end of the semester. Um, term projects for me have to be interesting. They should be, at least useful, but something that you want to work on. If it's something that you are passionate about, something that you have a vested interest in, or, maybe not, maybe you're not super passionate about something, but if it at least is interesting to you, you're more likely to, be happy to work on it rather than it being a slog of something you have to do. So with that, this project, I want it to be something you can be proud of to show off in a portfolio. You're going to create a GitHub website for it. It should be something that you're proud to put on your resume to show an employer when you're done here. In the past, I've had students get hired on at companies because of term projects they've done. And they're able to take that and turn it into a full-time job. So for me, that's super cool to hear. And for you, obviously, it's beneficial because you're taking all this work that you're doing in class, and then you just have a nice little prepackaged bundle to throw to your employers. You don't have to spend hours, prepping your resume for this. So that's kind of the idea. My hidden agenda is for you to be successful. That's kind of the whole point of why I'm doing this. But on the other side too, so this has to be, an actual project with actual effort. So we're going to treat it like a real world project. There will be, rules or roles, which again will be fairly fluid. So I don't want one person being the project manager, one person being the developer. I want everybody to share in the efforts, but you should all get an appreciation for what these project roles kind of look like. And the interesting parts for this class, honestly, are going to be the artifacts that come with it. So the requirements, the test cases, the things which actually make your software viable, right? So the programming's honestly, it's the easy part. Hammer out a video game over the weekend, you throw it out there. It's fun, but it's buggy as hell, and nobody likes it. If you spend the time to actually go and do the actual process, you might release something a lot cleaner, um, maybe more successful, and then you don't have to spend all your time chasing down bugs. So the project steps here, I'm going to kind of gloss through this because we'll be doing this more later on. You'll form teams. These will be up to you who you want to be on your team. Obviously, being online only, this is tricky because maybe not everybody knows each other. Um, but if you know who you want to work with, I will definitely, you can start with that. We'll do a collaborate session so people can meet each other, maybe advertise what they want to work on. And we'll try to do that. And then if you don't know anybody, you've never met anybody in here, we can also, assign people to teams and kind of bolster things that way. Probably about 2 to 4 people per team would be what I'd be looking for. If you want more, I'm open to suggestion. Um, but just keep in mind if you go more, I'm going to be expecting more from your team. Maybe a more polished final product rather than, a working prototype kind of thing. But this is something we can talk about and iterate. You'll do a project proposal. You'll set up a GitHub repo and a website. This will be your public-facing thing, which you can show to others. We'll do checkpoints. We'll do delivery, which is basically going to be like your term project presentations, that kind of thing. And we'll evaluate each other and all that fun stuff. So this second point here, this project proposal, there is a lot of back and forth whether I should just give you, everybody do this thing and then, we'll see how you all do. To me, I always did not enjoy that personally. I liked working on things that were super interesting. Again, because it's something that I could take and use it elsewhere. So here's a few examples. And the reason why I'm like giving examples here is because this can also be very frustrating if you don't have something in mind already. I'm not asking you to have something in mind already, but um, actually, so this is a really good question here. Is there somewhere we can look to see all the students in class? So there should be a listing in Blackboard. If there is not, please let me know. Did not even think about that. Um, so I'll try to check in Blackboard to see if that's public or not. There is more than one section. If you want to work with somebody from one of the other sections, we might have to make a special case out of that and talk about it. It's just going to be slightly tricky in terms of like the deliverables at the end of the day, because there's going to be like term project presentations which take place in class. Let me think about that when we form teams. Please bring that up again. I'm not against it, I guess. It would just take some extra flexibility. So we'll see. That answer your question, hopefully? I'm not saying no, I guess, is the point. um, right. So then with this and with this project idea, um, maybe there's something that you've always wanted to do and haven't had time to do, because of class or work or family or something. I want you to take this chance to work on that and use this time to be kind of a forced time to do it. Like I used to teach system administration, and a lot of times students are like, I want to set up a home backup solution. I just never have the time to do it. I'm like, well, that's your term project right there. Set up a NAS and do all of that. Here, if there's a game that you've wanted to develop, if there's an app you want to create for Android or iPhone or Microsoft Phone, if you're one of the super cool people who used to have one of those, um, maybe there is a desktop application, maybe there's a web application if you're a web developer, something that can take the skills that you have and turn it into a really interesting project. Right? Like for this first one, over the summer I did there's a roguelike tutorial in Python for how to make a roguelike type of game. If you've ever played something like NetHack, Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup, Tome, any of the millions of them that are out there, there's ways you can learn these things and turn them into real applications. So, if there's something that you're interested in, use this as a way to make that happen. And then take that, put it on your resume, get a job, and be very happy that you have a full-time, job waiting for you when you're done with college. I actually had one student when I was at Oakland. He did some independent studies with me and became part of my research lab. He's working on some kind of a mod for a Valve game, I think. I don't know if they're monetizing it yet, but Basically, he's doing something with the Counter-Strike surfing mod, basically. So take this and do something interesting, basically. If you have no idea what you want to do right now, that's fine. I will help you iterate these ideas and kind of scope them too. Semester might seem like a long time, but as we get into it, your time will shrink and shrink and shrink, and we have to make sure that you have, something workable at the end. It doesn't have to be super polished, but it should be at least functional. Oh, like a green light project. Yeah, so I haven't kept up with it. It was really interesting though, because he was doing things with like the Vulkan renderer and he was doing all kinds of crazy 3D graphics. But yeah, the Steam's kind of an interesting place for that. But yeah, think of something interesting. If there's people that you already know, maybe start thinking about it. Um, I'm not going to hold you or hold you to it right away. Just start maybe thinking about it. So for this class, for the term project, we're mostly interested in the process, not necessarily the coding. The process is how you start a project and end a project. And in software, we never really end projects. They're always maintained. Right? If you've ever contributed to an open source repository or at least looked at them in the past, people are maintaining these for very, very long periods of time. You might see pull requests on GitHub 3 years after the last release because somebody is still using the software and they want a new feature. So software engineering is never done. Um, for us, this is going to mean things like artifacts, checkpoints, presentation. So basically, we're going to pretend like we're in a business setting. How complicated does the program have to be? That will depend on how many people are on your team, what your technical background is. Um, I guess suffice to say, complication can be fluid. I wouldn't overly complexify something if you can have how do I want to say this? It doesn't have to be horribly complicated, but it should be demonstrative of a project, I guess. Um, this is kind of where I will help you refine your ideas through the proposal. So I'll give you feedback when you do a proposal. I'll say, no, this is just too much for you guys, or too much for your team members, or maybe it's not enough. So add an extra feature and I'll be happy. Or take these 3 extra stretch goals away because there's no way you're going to have time to do it all. So basically, we'll talk about it, if that makes sense. It's kind of tough as a student with these projects because I'm not giving you a rigid goalpost. It has to be good enough. Um, and good enough is fluid based on the team generally. If you have 6 people, it's got to be very complicated. If you have 2 people, I'm going to be more concerned about other things. What are a few things groups have done that are not games? That is a great question because I'm going to use games in a lot of my examples because that's something I'm slightly interested and passionate about. Um, so I've had groups in the past. So this is my first time actually teaching this course. Everything I've done in the past has been either more IT based or software engineering at the graduate level where I've just let students run free with what they want to do. I've had people set up. So if I'm going to consider it in terms of the software engineering course, it was using again like Raspberry Pis and things like that. I've had people create motorized hands. They basically stuck a bunch of popsicle sticks together with motors, and this is not something that you guys have to do, obviously. I'm not giving you Raspberry Pis to do all this, but or making you get them. I've had people set up imaging libraries, so like they set up OpenCV and security cam software, and they've kind of done machine learning on people's faces to figure out emotions, things of that nature. Um, Graduate level again, so I'm not expecting you to go that deep, but you could do time tracking software, you could do database software, you could do like a web application. You can make the next great silly app for um, iPhone or Android or something like that. So basically anything that you can think of. And again, if you have no idea, we will kind of work through that. Um, so would a hypergeometric calculator app be too simple? That's a good question. Depends how complicated you want that to be. Um, Again, kind of the important thing for me will be the artifacts supporting it. Okay, so um, if it's a program you can bang out in a couple hours, there's a good chance it's not going to be complicated enough. Um, but we'll have to see. So I'd be interested in what your proposal is. Thank you for asking that question. If you want to do a game, you are more than welcome to use whatever technologies are out there. Um, so if you want to go crazy, set something up in Godot or Unity or Unreal, you are more than welcome to use whatever packages, tools, development environments are going to make your life easier. For something like this, I think a working prototype will be very useful for you. And if a tool set is going to get you there quicker, by all means use it. I have some experience with Unity and Godot. I've actually been playing with Godot a lot recently. It's super cool, but kind of wonky in its implementation. So, but yeah, absolutely use whatever you can at your disposal. Um, I'm not going to be critiquing you on your Java or your Python code. I'm going to be mainly more interested in everything supporting that. Okay, so teams. We are online synchronous. Software engineering is unfortunately a class where you have to be team-based. You need that multiple role experience. If we could just do one person teams, I would love that, but it's kind of hard to get a collaborative experience without that. Um, but on the flip side, this is a great opportunity to learn how to do remote work together. I assume you're all sophomores and up, probably, but you're getting a snapshot of what the real world is like right now. My wife is outside right now doing, I think, a team meeting with her engineering group, um, doing something with autonomous driving, I think. I'm not sure what they're talking about right now, but their group is all on the east side of the state, and we're over here. So remote work is a real world thing these days, and being able to do a term project remotely is actually kind of a great way to show that you can function and be adaptable. So when they ask you on your resume, hey, how do you work with others? I'm like, well, I work pretty good. I had to do it remote for the first year or two, after COVID became crazy, but it's something that I can handle. So we're gonna make this work. Um, when we get our term projects up and running, you will have to do weekly meetings. I will have templates for everything that I'm expecting, so don't worry about that. Um, your teams can meet through chat, they can meet through video, voice, whatever technology is going to work for your group. I'm happy with it as long as you hold a meeting in some fashion and that I get the summary of what's going on, basically. So, like a weekly meeting minutes kind of thing. Not horribly strenuous for you guys, don't worry. Yep, so we'll do a term project. We'll talk about that more as we go. And because this is a crazy time, I'm going to ask for your feedback sporadically throughout the class. So I'll probably put things like surveys on Blackboard. What's working, what's not working, what can I do better, um, what kind of tools would help you be more successful. Do you hate the class? Do you love the class? I mean, any feedback from me is good, right? As long as it's constructive and not just um, people unhappy all the time, right? And if you are unhappy, that's probably something I should know too, so that I can try to fix that. Um, my goal again is to make sure you're all successful. I want you to have, um, as good of an experience as we can provide for this. Plus, I want you to, take the info here and actually be able to apply it to your future careers. So I'll ask you, how everything's going. I'll put surveys up in Blackboard. They're not going to be graded. If anything, they'll be extra credit, right? So these are helpful for me to make hopefully your lives easier. All right. Um, we've had some questions coming in, so keep them coming if you guys have anything you want to ask me. Um, I did just put the office hours up earlier, so they're Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 11 to 12. 11 to 12? Yeah, 11 to 12. We'll do that through Blackboard Collaborate, so the link is up on Blackboard now. Um, if that time doesn't work for anybody, I'm also always available to schedule something if it works. Only reason it was delayed is I've got my wife works full time. I've got 3 kids doing school from home as well, so our schedules have been kind of crazy. So our tech stack is synchronous online, meaning that I want this class to run as close as possible to a real world class, except sacrificing obviously the face-to-face, which is rough for everybody. But we will meet at specific days and times. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 1 to 2 for us, meaning I will be streaming or we will be doing something, very similar where we will all be meeting. But basically, we have a structured environment, hopefully for you. I'm not going to take attendance or, expect that you are all here every single time. It's obviously it's better for you if you are, but I'm not going to be breathing down your neck. Are you still alive today? But, please let me know if you're having problems getting, into the class or if there's something wrong. All right, so our website is Blackboard. Everything related to the class will be handled through that. So the lectures will be up there, the recordings will be up there, your grades will be up there, assignments, all of that fun stuff is through Blackboard. So it's all centralized there. Our live stream is Twitch, which you are all here already. I assume you all plus whatever bots are lurking in the channel. All right. Our chat environment is Discord. So, okay, let's not do that. I just want to go through this very briefly. Feel free to use it as an environment where you can all hang out and chat, share memes, make fun of me, whatever you want to do. My only requirement is that you keep it safe for work. So no porn or nothing that would basically offend anybody else, right? I want this to be a safe environment where everybody can feel comfortable talking. And if that becomes a problem, I will start moderating a little bit heavier and I'll warn you and all that. But I don't want anybody to feel uncomfortable with with the environment, basically. So we have kind of some general areas up here. We have some 350 specific channels as well. So if you want to ask anything about homework, if you want to, talk about the projects or assignments or anything like that, I'll have some areas here for your project team discussions. There is a channel here for all of your Git notifications. So whenever your team pushes, you'll get a notification in here that it went through successfully and that, I will see that as well. And that way you can basically be sure that I received your Git push, basically. And if you've never used Git before, you're going to this semester. It's a great skill to have if you've never gotten it before. I am no longer in office hours, so I should probably get rid of that while I'm in here. I also get a notification anytime you do something in our Git repo, so just be aware that anytime you do a push, pull, comment, fork, whatever, I'm going to see that. I can't imagine that, will all sections be on the Discord channel? Yes, they will. Unless it becomes unwieldy, then I'll split it up. But it's going to be the same content between section 1 and section 2, so to me, I don't think we need to split it up unless it becomes a problem. Okie dokie. So that's Discord. So feel free to use that to your heart's content. Got some hype going on, so that's good. All my old students are still on here as well. Well, whichever ones are still sticking around in Discord, so you might see some flack from the Oakland crew. So we have that. Slide interaction is Slido, so I'll ask you to take a picture of a QR code, maybe answer a survey, things like that. Just kind of another way for you to interact. Term projects are on GitHub. Please, 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 any problems, questions, comments, concerns, anything like that, message me in Discord, either in the general channel or private. Email me, go through Twitch, visit me in office hours. Just get a hold of me if you need me, okay? And then the last thing before we dip into the syllabus, I want to talk about the website a little bit since it's worth talking about. So we have our web page here. Let's go into student mode so you can see what I see what you see. Basically, so if there's a better way for me to set up Blackboard to enable you to have a better experience, please feel free to let me know if something's annoying or hard to see or something like that. I'm used to Moodle, a little bit of a different environment. This one, I was kind of told that it's best to group sessions in a folder like by week. So that's kind of how I'm going to do it. Um, Slides will be up there, videos will be up there, assignments will be up there. So basically, if you want to see what's due, everything's going to be in a weekly folder basically. So you have your slides here. The VOD will go up after class. And then anything below this little GIF is going to be things that you have to do. I will do my best not to overload you with needless um, busy work. I think that's offensive to you probably more than anything. So again, I'll put all your assignments and labs up here. So there's a couple things to talk about. So you have 3 things due right now. First one I want to talk about is this FERPA release form. Um, I don't care if you are positive or negative for this one, just please answer it and turn it in. So what this means is your privacy and your rights. So if you sign yes, I can put your Twitch chat. Normally in Twitch streams, you see like the chat scrolling up the screen. You don't see that right now because I don't have the forms all in. Basically, this just means that I can use your information and put it publicly. If you all, if somebody says no, which I'm perfectly okay with, by the way, this is your privacy. You should take control of it and use it however you want. You just won't see any student information recorded up on YouTube. Basically, is how that will work. It'll just be the streams will go up. My likeness will be up there, but nothing student related will be on YouTube. Now, the Blackboard Collaborate sessions, those will be recorded, but they will be internal to our section only. So nobody else will ever see that. They'll be deleted at the end of the semester. It's just one of those things where if I'm going to put information out publicly, and this is more just so that, it's available for you all and closed caption nicely. I don't want anybody's, privacy to be a concern. So there are points for this form, but yes or no, whatever your preference is, just make sure you turn it in. Okay, that's the only reason why it's graded. Second thing, you have your first homework assignment up. So basically, you have some case studies to read and reflect on and get back to me, I believe, next week. So I've got the document in there for you all to check out. And then the last thing I want to talk about here, this is a survey for your exam preferences. So again, new world, new environment. I want to be flexible and I want this to be as painless as possible for you while still giving you the feedback that you need for this class. So basically the questions are, do you want the class to be term project based, meaning no exams? I know how stressful exams can be, and I don't want the class to necessarily be worse for you because you're freaking out about taking an online exam. So if you want it to just be work-based, so to be homework and term project-based and things of that nature, there's a question for that. If you're fine with exams, I'd rather it be midterm and final, and then I have that weighted grade, or a blend. So basically, I'm giving you lots of options. And if there is something else that you think of that is even better, feel free to email me. I'll take the feedback from all of the sections for this class, and I'll kind of figure out what the best plan is, and then I'll let you know. But at the end of the day, I will communicate what the plan is for that. I just wanted to give you all some ownership and some, to hear your opinions on this because being online, it's tough, right? So please fill that out and let me know what you want to do for that. And I'm pretty sure that there's some extra credit associated with this as well. As long as I can figure out the extra credit in the system. Moodle was awful for extra credit. Syllabus then, so really this is just going to be standard syllabus. This will change based on your feedback, I promise you that. Other things that will change in here are the dates. So I know fall break has been canceled. We're going to go online after that. So basically this time frame is going to change. Just again, I want you to be aware of that. The only real things that I want to talk about in here, I mean, you should read the syllabus regardless. But even knowing that it will change, the one thing that's not going to change is that I take a very dim view on plagiarism and cheating. And if I discover that, I will be very unhappy and we will have a very rough time. If you are concerned that you might be plagiarizing and cheating, please let me know ahead of time. I'm more than happy to see. Basically, just don't copy and paste from Wikipedia and drop it into an assignment. I can tell if you're doing that. And it's very easy to tell, like if you take an online exam, I gave this to some students a while back. I had to send half of them up for dishonesty because they were just copying and pasting from Wikipedia and dropping it into our Moodle session, or sorry, I guess our version of Blackboard. The formatting carries through when you copy and paste it in. So just don't cheat. Um, long story short is if you are getting information from somewhere else, cite it, paraphrase it, don't just copy and paste it, right? If you're concerned, just reach out to me. I'm more than happy to clarify things. But other than that, again, syllabus will change slightly if you have any special needs or anything relating to the class where I can make life easier. Please reach out to me. There's obviously the disability support resources out there if you're not aware of them. Um, Basically, please let me know if there is anything that I have to do to make your class experience better, basically. So we got 5 minutes left. Various use of sources, or does it not matter? So this is more like if I ask you, if I ask you what is a use case, I don't want to just see you copy and paste the Wikipedia entry for use case. Just in your own words. Okay, and if I'm asking you to write like a reflection on something, or write paragraph, if you're getting information from somewhere else, please like just copy and paste it. I'm not looking for it has to be APA or anything like that. Just make sure that you're not plagiarizing it is kind of the point there. Um, that being said, Wikipedia is a great source because they have all their sources cited at the bottom. I'm definitely not against that. All right, so then, any other questions so far? So today's kind of feeling out the class, letting you know there will be a term project, looking for your feedback on anything. Um, if there's anything that you take away from class today is that if you have, get rid of the mouse there, any problems, or if you're feel like you're falling behind, or anything, please just let me know. Basically, I will do my best to solve whatever is causing you a headache. So, I'd like to kind of end today with a little survey for you all. So, um, if you have a smartphone, take a picture of the QR code. It'll take you to the website for the survey, or go to slido.com. Excuse me, enter in the code. And I'm kind of curious to see what kind of programming languages that you all know, because it's kind of fun to see what other people actually know. And I want to make sure that this is working, so I will do it too. There we go. That is working good, just slightly delayed. So this is what is the most important thing for succeeding and doing well in the course? I will tell you what one of my undergrad professors told me when I took statics with him in probably 2005, maybe. Just keep up with the material, do the work, and you'll be fine, right? If you start missing assignments, if you start missing lectures, it's going to be a lot harder to catch up. I'm recording these. I forgot to hit record, lovely, but fortunately enough, I can update it or get it from Twitch. Just make sure that you keep up. So that's a great question. How do you keep track of everything that needs to be done? So I will have all the assignments in the weekly folders. I'm fairly certain there is a way that you can see what is coming up due very soon. But if there's anything, I guess I will make sure that you know what has to be done. I'll also remind you in class, hey, we have an assignment due tonight. All right, we have an assignment due tomorrow. Don't forget about the homework, that kind of thing. Just check Blackboard, basically. Keep up with Blackboard if you can. All right, Java, Python, win again. Cool. I actually do use Streamlabs. So I have a Windows machine here, so I'm running Streamlabs. I really like the cloud backup, so I can basically take the setup and go to any other machine. I also have an Ubuntu machine, which I haven't gotten OBS set up on yet, so not quite sure. But I use Streamlabs for everything so far. I've been pretty happy with it. I actually use Streamlabs just for recording videos too. Like I've had to give some presentations for conferences. I just use Streamlabs to record myself. It worked pretty nicely. Alrighty, so Java wins, kind of expected since you all have to take Java. Um, I will say that I have a predisposition against Java, just my old curmudgeonly nature. I'm a C programmer. Recently, not recently anymore, but quite love Python myself. Um, the web has gone in very weird directions with their coding. I'm very surprised that everything is JavaScript based now, especially based on how awful JavaScript was when I used to do web development for fun. But cool. So you guys have a nice wide range of tools or of knowledge here. Nobody picked up on Rust. I kind of figured somebody would have gone out and learned Rust for that's the new hotness, I think, right? Okie dokie. So that's it for class today. So thank you all for coming. Next time we'll pick up with some of the basics of software engineering. I will give you my Scared Straight lecture, which is lots of fun for me to tell you all the horrible things that can go wrong with software development and why we need this class. So are there any other questions before I end the stream? My phone is blowing up because my kids have various class sessions scheduled and all kinds of crazy stuff. All right. Well, I've got Discord on my phone, so if you message me or message the channel, I get a notification and um, I'll try to answer them right away. Drop me an email, drop by office hours, and we will pick it up on Wednesday, and I will see you all then. So thanks for all coming and sticking around, and I will see you then. Bye-bye. He didn't go bye-bye yet. Do you care if we... Oh, that's a great question. I forgot to mention that. I do not care. If for some reason you miss class and you want to do the morning session instead, that's fine with me. Just be aware that we may diverge at some point if I talk, not a rate, I disabled rate, so I'm really hoping that doesn't, the Twitch thing doesn't come back to bite me in the end. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind if you drop in. Just keep in mind that we might not be at the exact same place, lecture to lecture. If we have more of a discussion period and things kind of drag on or I go fast, we just might be slightly out of sync. But yeah, you're more than welcome to drop by the other ones. Last winter, I actually had some of my undergrads in my sysadmin class were dropping by one of my computer graphics classes just to see what cool stuff you can do with WebGL and Unity and all that fun stuff. So it doesn't bother me in the least. You can even ask questions if you want. That's fine too. But other than that, I'll put the recording up after here. I'll throw the link in Blackboard and yeah, see you all Wednesday. Bye for real.